Why protests are bad. Let's talk about why protests are bad today and who they're bad for. Let's get into it. All right, so before I tell you that, I want to teach you a new word. We're going to learn a new word. As many of y'all know, I am the host of the Anti-Racism School is in Session podcast, and I'm an anti-racism educator. So as an educator, I like to teach my students, who are you, new words. So today we're going to learn the word conflate, okay? So when two things are conflated, they are figuratively blown together, either by someone's confusion or their ingenuity, according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, right? So conflate means to fuse into one entity, to take two things that are not the same and fuse them into one entity, to merge, to bring together, okay? What does this have to do with protesting? How is it connected? How is it showing up? Let me give you an example. So an example of the word conflate, like in a sentence, would be, don't conflate gossip with real information, or don't conflate misinformation with real information, right? In the context of what's happening today, here's what we don't want to do. We don't want to conflate peaceful student protesters with anti-Semitism, right? Peaceful student protesters who have made it clear, crystal clear, that they are protesting against the genocide happening right now in Gaza, and they are protesting for their universities to divest from their investments in Israel, okay? That's what it is. So we don't want to conflate peaceful student protesters against genocide and systemic violence and the funding of that systemic violence with anti-Semitism. They're not the same thing. They're two different things. We don't want to fuse them into one entity. They're not the same. Let's not conflate Palestinian people with Hamas. They're not the same. Let's not conflate the two things, right? They're not one entity, so let's not fuse two different things into one entity, okay? Let's not conflate Jewish people with the Israeli government. They're not the same. They are not the same. We have two different entities. Let's not fuse them into one entity and merge them together. Is this making sense? Let me tell you why this is so important. One of the reasons why, over the years, the US government, the agents of white supremacy who have been in positions of power in the US and globally have not wanted you to learn the facts about history is because once you learn the facts and the truth about history, it's easy for you to recognize when history is attempting to repeat itself, when people are running the same white supremacist, racist plays that they've run in the past in the present. It's the same play, different game, same play, different year, same play, different issue. So they want to keep you ignorant about history. They don't want you to have access to anti-racism education, no DEI, CRT, nothing, no way. They don't want you to have access to anything because it's so easy to see the connection from history, from the past to what's happening today when you have that understanding and education and awareness, right? So here's what they do. They demonize the resistors. They demonize the protesters, right? They shift the focus. They do anything and everything in their power to shift the focus from the actual problem that people are protesting against, right? Systemic oppression, systemic racism, systemic violence, genocide. Shift the focus from those important issues that are killing and harming people onto the resistors. Oh, these people are the problem. These protests are the problem, right? And they are going to demonize you. They're going to criminalize you. They're going to twist the story around to make it so the resistors and the protesters are the problem, not the actual problem that people are protesting against, right? So I've had people tell me so many times that talking about racism is the problem. If you stop talking about it, it'll stop happening. And I always tell them, talking about the problem is not the problem. The problem is the problem. So don't fall for these games, y'all, these ignorant, racist, white supremacist plays that they keep running over and over and over so that they can stay in positions of power, right? They don't like you being aware. That's why they want to ban TikTok, because they don't want you to be aware. That's why they demonized the term woke. Woke just means to be aware of racial injustice. They don't want you to be aware. They want you to be ignorant, right? So they make it a bad thing. They make diversity, equity, and inclusion a bad thing. Don't fall for the okie doke. Be smart. Use your brain. Think critically, okay? If you're looking for resources to help you to learn more so that you can know what to do and how to get on the right side of history, go to that link on my profile and invest in your anti-racism education today, right now. Let's go.